Hello everyone, in this video we have 5 laws of layout and composition that are instantly going to make your designs look more professional and engaging. Law number 1, grid systems. Modular grids are made up of a series of rows and columns. These are separated into modules which can be used to organise text and imagery. This helps with alignment and gives you a professional layout structure to use in your designs. It can be used for simple graphics, more editorial style designs, or even more complex examples like these. Now I work mainly in Illustrator, so I'm going to show you how to make a modular grid in Illustrator. I'm going to take the marquee tool or press the M key and I'm going to draw a rectangle around the entire artboard. Now I want a 3mm gutter around the edges, so I'm going to reduce the height and width by 6mm. Then I'm going to come to Object, Path, Split into Grid. I want a 6-column grid with a 3mm gutter, so I'm going to come put those values in, turning preview on so I can see what I'm doing. Then I'll hit OK and draw another rectangle around those columns. Now to apply the rows. So I want 8 rows with a 3mm gutter. Now if I select all of that and go to View Guides, Make Guides, you'll see that's turned into a grid system. Text, imagery and shapes will snap to this, making alignment a little bit easier, and you'll see this sort of grid system in use throughout the rest of the video. Law number 2, hierarchy and proximity. This is probably the fastest way to create pace and better visual engagement in a design. It's going to make whatever you're designing more disruptive to catch the viewer's attention, as well as help communicate in the right order. So if we take a look at this simple text layout here, we have the headline Black Friday sale, which is taking up half of the page, because that's the first thing we want viewers to see. We're then telling the viewer what they get exactly with 20% off everything directly underneath. And we're doing this in a black bar to underline Black Friday sale. And notice I've locked those two up together in the same proximity. The reason being because those two bits of information relate to each other and we want the viewer to sort of read them together, one after the other. We've then got the logo applied, again to create a bit of pace and visual disruption, but not in a way that's overbearing or drawing your eye away from the headline too early. We've then got some product information at the bottom of the page, which the viewer can get into once we've managed to get their attention. Using icons in this case really helps to pull each point apart and make them more individual. And I've purposely kept photography more pared back to be more of a mood setter. We don't want this to be one of the main pieces of communication in this instance. Now I'm going to show you how not to do it. So in this example, we've still technically got okay hierarchy, but there's just not much pace or visual engagement, and everything is kind of bunched up together in the same proximity. So it's going to be harder to get the viewer to read the design in the correct order. That's why it's always important to consider hierarchy and proximity. Law number 3, create layering. This poster set is for a fictional company called Blue Skies. They provide a creative shared workspace with the aim of lifting creative opportunities and creative businesses to the next level. So I really want to create this sense of uplift, and you can do that with layering. So let's take one of the posters for example. I've got all the information laid out, and step by step I can create much more layering, depth and movement. So first I'm going to bring in a second font, which instantly starts to create a little bit more pace. Then we're going to layer that over the photo to start to create some depth in the poster. Now I'm going to layer that a bit more, having some of the text in front of the photo and some of it behind. So you really start to get this sense of movement going up the page. I've also added a bold blue border to frame the poster and really draw your attention. And finally, to add a sense of creativity and organisation, I've added some subtle grid systems and handwritten notes over the top of the imagery, just to give that little bit more depth. And here you can see the full transformation. The principles of layering and depth can be applied in all sorts of other ways, and we'll get to some more of that later in the video. Law 4, harmonize colours. So look at this garish mess. The only thing really wrong with this is the colour palette. I'm going to show you how I create colour palettes that integrate into your workflow and are easy to keep consistent across large or complex designs. So I've just drawn 2 squares here, and I'm going to use the eyedropper tool to select one of the lighter colours in the background of the photograph. It's slightly too yellow, so I'm going to make it a bit more neutral. Then I want a darker colour, so I'm going to take that from the tree. Then I'll select both of them, come to my swatches panel and click New Colour Group. You want selected artworks ticked, or you can leave the settings as they are and click OK. And you'll see that's created a new colour group in your swatches panel. You want these to be global colours, you'll see why in a minute. So just double click each one, hit global and click OK. Now we're going to come and change my background to the lighter colour and change my text to the brown. Easy way to select all the text, if you click one element, come to select and then select same fill colour. Now let's say I decide the background is a bit too yellow and I want to make it more earthy. Because I made it a global colour, I can just come in and double click the swatch and change the colour from here, which really helps when you're dealing with a lot of artboards, or if this colour is applied to a number of shapes and text. It just means I can change it all at once without having to select anything. So I've made that more green, I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to change the brown a little bit as well, make that a bit more green. And I'll come in and change the stroke to green as well, just by dragging the fill to the stroke down the left here. Now let's say you want to predefine your colour palette. There are a lot of fancy tools out there, but personally I just like to come to Google Images and just search for the sort of colour palette you want. So I'm just going to go for a natural colour palette, and as you can see there's a multitude to pick from. So yeah, keep it simple. On to law number 5, create focal points. So let's come back to this design that we saw earlier. I've created a clear focal point on the man on the left in the suit. So he is layered on top of the background graphics, which is sort of cutting across him in a slightly different direction, and that gives him a lot of standout. So he'll be the first thing that viewers see when they look at the design. Next we have the quote on the right, again much larger than the rest of the text in the design, so that will be the first thing that viewers read. Then we've got some qualifying information locked up with that in the same proximity, so viewers are likely to read that after the quote. And finally we have a call to action in this yellow band at the bottom. And the reason we've put that in this bright yellow is to make sure it's not forgotten about and try to spur the user into actually clicking it. So in this design you can sort of see the other 4 laws of layout and composition all coming together in quite a clean and simple format. Thanks for watching today guys, I hope you found it helpful. For more creative tips and tricks, just click through to my next video.